previously recorded. Babe, come here. Never mind. What's going on, family? Today what I'm going to be making for y'all is some neck bone soup. Neck bone stew, soup, however you want to put it. But I'm going to be making this neck bone soup. It's getting cold. I know y'all looking for something different, something new, something that you probably never had before. Or maybe you have. It's just been a while. And you're looking for a different kind of way to make it, or however, whatever, it don't even matter. I'm just bringing this recipe to y'all because it's getting cold and we want something that's going to be filling and that's going to keep us warm. So if you want to know how to make some neck bone soup, I ask that you stay right here and follow me along step by step. That way you can see how I make my neck bone soup. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the doorbell. And also, don't forget to go over and show my second channel some love. Boss Up Cleaning, that is. Alright, y'all. Let's get started. Alright, y'all. So here in my pot, I have my neck bones. And I am boiling them. This is some fresh neck bones. And I am boiling them for the second go round. I have already boiled them one time. I have boiled them for like 30 minutes, I want to say. I dumped the liquid off. I did not season them when I boiled them the first time. What I do is I boiled them the first time to clean them. So I boiled them for like 30 minutes. I dumped the liquid off. Then I rinsed all the nastiness off of them. I picked all the nasty stuff out in between the bones and all that stuff like that. That way I can start off with a fresh pot of neck bones, a fresh pot of water. And so this is what I have so far right now. Now, the ingredients that you're going to need is, okay, so you're going to need you some black pepper, some seasoning of your choice, some apple cider vinegar, and this is optional. I just like to add vinegar to my pork when I'm boiling it, so I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar. You can use regular vinegar if you have that. You're going to need you some complete seasoning. It's optional. Any kind of seasoning that you want to use is up to you. It's not, I'm just showing you just what I pulled out the cabinet to use. Onion powder. You're going to need some garlic powder. I forgot to take that down. I got me some celery salt, but you can cut up you some celery. I got me some chicken-based seasoning. I have me 1 packet of Lipton onion soup mix. Then I have a bag of potatoes. So you're going to need you a few potatoes. However many potatoes that you want to cut up in yours is what you're going to use. So I have some sweet peas, green peas, whatever you want to call them. You're going to need you a can or two of diced tomatoes. You're going to need you some tomato sauce because I'm thinking to make mine more on the tomato base type flavor. So you're going to need some tomato sauce, but I'm going to take out some of that as well. You're going to need you some green beans, corn. You add as much of the vegetables as you would like. You're going to need, and you can also use canned sweet peas. I just happen to have some in my freezer, so I'm going to use those. You're going to need you some garlic or garlic powder. Everything that I'm showing you is optional. You're going to need an onion, a bell pepper. I have a tomato that was sitting there. I don't want to go bad, so I'm going to cut that tomato up in it as well. If you have some lima beans that you want to add to it, add you some limas. Whatever that you want to add, you make this recipe your own. I'm just giving you a guide as to what I'm using, and you just take off from there. And also, I'm just going to be adding a little bit of salt, so my salt is right there. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. All right, y'all, so first thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dice, slice, however you want to cut up your tomatoes, your onion. If you have like fresh tomato, your onion, your bell pepper, however you want to cut it up, that's how you cut it up. But I got me a bowl of water right here. I'm going to be using this for my potatoes. Actually, let's go ahead on. Why did I close the drawer? Let's go ahead on and start peeling the potatoes and dicing those up. You can peel them if you want to. You don't have to peel them, however, it's up to you. So, peel the potatoes. Get the skin off of them. And then I'm going to dice mine on the big side because I want these to hold up through the cooking process and don't want them to cook down. So I'm going to take my potato, cut it in half. I'm going to cut that in half, each half in half, and then I'm going to cut it in half like that. That way I have me sort of kind of like big chunks. I don't want to be looking for the potatoes, you know. So that's how I'm going to cut up my potatoes. I'm going to do another one to show you. You might have to cut yours maybe 3 times. Just depends on how big your potato is. But I'm just cutting mine just like I showed you. So that's what I got. Alright, so we're going to cut that in half. Then we're going to cut that half in half. And then we're just going to cut this here in half 1 time. You might have to cut yours 2 times, but I'm just cutting mine 1 time. So that's what I got. So I'm going to do all of them, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I got all my potatoes cut up. So now we're going to work on the bell pepper, the onion, and the tomato. So first thing first, I'm going to take my bell pepper, cut it in half. The white core, you want to take that out. And get rid of that because you don't want to use that. Okay. So then I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to slice it up on the big side because I want all this to hold up through the cooking process. So you don't have to dice it small. Just cut it in big chunks. You can take, and then you're going to remove the white part from the inside as well. And cut it in big chunks like that. And that's good to go. You ain't got to be doing all that dicing. Okay. So now we're going to do the same exact thing to the onion. But what you're going to do is you're going to remove the skin. So you're going to cut one end off, cut the other end off. slice it down one side, peel the skin off, and peel however many layers you feel comfortable enough peeling. Sometimes you might need to peel more than one layer of the skin. So now what I'm going to do is take my onion, cut it down the middle. Then I'm going to dice it up, cut it, slice it about 3 times. Take that, cut it in half. I have somewhat of a medium-sized onion. So that's all the cutting I need to do to my onion. Cut it down the middle. Now I got my onion cutter. If you got you some celery, you can do the same thing to your celery, or just dice it up if you really don't want to see it in your soup. So now I got my tomato. I'm just going to cut the root end off right there. I'm just going to cut that out. Take my tomato, cut it in half, cut that in half, and basically what I'm going to do is cut it down a little bit smaller than the rest, because I do kind of want this to cook down. But you don't have to be particular about, you know, how small you cut this up and all of that, y'all. It's up to you how you want to cut it up how you want to cut it up. I'm just showing you how I'm doing mine. Mine. So I got my tomatoes cut. Alright, so now I have my neck bones over here boiling. And so what I'm going to do is, I want my neck bones to get to the point where they're almost done, but not all the way done, because it's not going to take as long for any of this we're going to be adding to it to finish cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 2 caps of the apple cider vinegar, and like I said, you can use the all-purpose vinegar, but I have maybe about probably about 16 neck bones in my pot, maybe even less, probably about 12. It's not really that many. So we're going to start adding our seasonings to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my black pepper. I'm going to add my chicken-based seasoning, and you season to your own taste, y'all. I can't really tell you how much seasoning to add, because ain't no telling how much you make it. So I'm adding my chicken-based seasoning, and we just want to get this here flavorful. Do not add any of your vegetables, potatoes, none of that until you get your broth the way that you want it. Taste your broth. Get your spoon and taste it, and see if you got it where you wanted it. Then I'm going to add my Lipton onion soup mix packet. I'm going to add onion powder. I'm going to add just a little of this complete seasoning. A little bit of my celery salt. And I'm kind of going to make my broth a tad bit saltier than what I would normally season. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because I'm adding potatoes to it. And you know how potatoes are going to just soak up all the seasoning and the flavor. And so then next thing you know that you seasoned your soup or your broth just right. But then next thing you know, you go back to eat your food and it's kind of like lacking in a little bit of flavor. So that's because of the potatoes potatoes are selfish. They take over and they soak up all the seasoning. All right, so now I'm going to add my all-purpose seasoning. This is my seasoning. So I'm going to add my all-purpose seasoning to this, and you can add your own whatever kind of seasoning salt that you want to add to it. It's up to you. All right. So now that's what I got right there. Give this a good mix so that all those seasonings can dissolve in this liquid. And I'm going to give it a taste to see if it's where I want it at. Get it a good taste. That's good right there. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bell pepper and my onion and my tomato so it can go ahead on and start cooking down, and add that right on in the pot. It'll be all right. Okay, so now remember I told y'all I was going to add a tomato sauce. So I just have a regular marinara sauce that I'm just going to add to it. And let's not forget the garlic. So I'm going to add maybe like a tablespoon of garlic. Or a little more. Okay. Then get that mixed in real good, and I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like down in this pot. So then I'm gonna add some tomato sauce until it gets as red as I want it. You can also add you some tomato paste as well to get it even darker in color. And let me add me some paprika to that, because that's going to help out with that color. So I'm going to add some paprika. And get that all mixed up. And then I'm going to give this another taste to see if that tomato flavor is where I want it. Because now I want a good mixture with my tomato flavor and my chicken-based seasoning. That's what's going to give it a nice flavor to this. I'm going to give that a taste. Perfect. All right, so this is the color that I have without the chicken broth. I mean the tomato paste. So I'm actually going to add some tomato paste to mine to give it a deeper tomato color. I'm thinking I want to go with a kind of like a tomatoey flavor to my broth. You know, like tomato, like a tomato soup. neck bone soup. Kind of like, that's kind of like what I'm going for in a way. I don't know. I'm just cooking and whatever tastes good, that's what I'm going with. So this is what I got so far. That's the broth. It's nice and flavorful. And now I'm just about to add the tomato paste to it. Then I'm going to show you what it'll look like after that. Okay, so I have added a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, and I added the entire can. And so this is what I have. So now this is how dark it is. And as this cook, it's going to darken in flavor. But try to look at it. Ooh. Yes, yes, yes. So now I'm going to cook this until my neck bones get almost tender. And when they get to the point, I mean almost done, I want them kind of like tearing on their own, which I need to check them now and see how tender they is so that I can add my potatoes to it. But you want you want this to cook long enough to give enough cook time for your potatoes. So how, maybe it only take maybe like what, maybe 20 minutes to cook potatoes. So that's how long you want to give yourself before you add the tomatoes to this. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead on and add the green peas to this because they is fresh green peas. So I'm going to go ahead on and add the green peas to this, so that they have enough cook time to, you know, to cook down and, you know, pick up flavor and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead on and add the green peas, but the corn and the green beans, I'm gonna add those when I add the potatoes. One last thing I forgot to tell you is go ahead and add your diced tomatoes. And that'll be it. So now let that cook down until the meat is about done tender. Alright y'all, so I'm changing pots, and I just wanted to show y'all that this is how tender you want them. Where they about to come off the bone, but they ain't coming off the bone yet. This is already done tender. See that? That's how tender you want them before you start adding your potatoes. So now you need only about another 20 minutes. You see the meat still attached to the bone, but it's tender. So, see that? You see? That's how tender you want it. So now you need about another 20 minutes, and this will be done. Just long enough to cook the potatoes. Alright, so now I'm about to add the potatoes. Get those off up in there, and we're going to add the rest of our vegetables. I'm draining and rinsing my veggies. Dumping all that in. Oh yeah, make sure you got a bigger pot. Big enough pot. I definitely underestimated my pot. Okay. So now I'm going to let that cook down. I'm going to add a little bit of salt because I tasted my meat and it just needed just a little tad bit of salt. And so I'm going to let this here, cover this and let it cook for about 20 minutes until the potatoes is tender, and I am through. Be back. And that's what I got right here. Let all that cook down. Yes, yes, yes. Alrighty, y'all. So here is the neck bone soup. It's done. The potatoes is tender, as you can see. And dinner is served. If y'all try this recipe, let me know. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Peace, love, many, many blessings to each and every one of you guys. And until the next video, this is your girl T, and not gonna be me. I am out. But I'm cooking this pot of rice to go on the side with it. So, alright, y'all. Y'all have a good one.